a.m. It's May 7th, 2021. On behalf of the entire board, I am so pleased to welcome you to this annual gathering in our 45th year of bringing together community college library and distance learning folks from across the Illinois region for our mutual benefit and the benefit of those we serve. As I said before, my name is Jennifer McIntosh. I'm honored to be your current NILRC chair. And I would also just like all of the board members to introduce themselves as well, and as well as our director, so that you can better put names and faces together. Did you all see the order I sent you by email? Okay, I'll just let you guys each introduce yourselves then.
Thanks, Jennifer. I'll go ahead and start. My name is Jacob Jeremiah. I'm the chair-elect of NILRC, and in my daily life, I am the assistant dean of the Oakton Community College Library.
Frances Whaley, past chair, and I'm at Kishwaukee College as the director of library and academic support services.
Brian, you're next.
Sorry, I had on mute.
It's okay.
I'm too busy typing. My name is Brian Clark. I am the recorder for NILRC, and I work at Illinois Central College as a technical services librarian.
Let me stop you for 1 second. Lois, did you hit record? I never saw the button come up.
It says it's recording.
Does it? Okay. Oh, I see it now. I'm sorry. My apologies for interrupting. I just never saw a prompt. So
yeah, no, it's there.
Okay, please continue. Abby.
Hi, I'm Abby Fry. I'm the treasurer. I'm at Carl Sandburg College in Galesburg, and my title is Library Information Services Assistant.
Hi, I'm Ashton Trimble. I'm the director of library services at Blackhawk College, and I'm a board member at large.
Good morning, I'm Tara Jacobson. I am a member at large for NILRC, and I am the dean at Moraine Valley Community College.
I'm Amanda Wiesenhofer, and I'm a member at large. I'm at Lincoln Land Community College, and I serve as the Electronic Resources and Library Systems Administrator.
Hello, my name is Thomas Manzakidis. I am a circulation librarian at Morton College. I am a board member of NILRC. I'm also on the Overdrive Consortium Committee.
And then Lois, you're last.
The technical aspects of this job are just a tad challenging. I'm Lois Bruno. I'm your director of member services and consortium business manager, and the office is in Palatine, Illinois. So that's where I am.
Thank you all. I hope that some of you know somebody on the board so that you feel like you have a personal connection in some way to the board. And if that's not true, we definitely need to rectify that, because we are about membership, but also connecting with each other. So we want to do everything we can to strengthen connections and ties between each other personally, wherever we can. Because the group is so large, I don't want us to go around person by person and introduce ourselves. I think it's just going to take up too much of our time. But instead, I'd like us to, I've got some activities to help us just connect with as many of you as we can, and just kind of, I think it'll just be kind of fun. So the first thing I'd like to do is find that raise hand feature in the box if you haven't already identified it, because we're going to use that a few times here. I kind of like to do something like a little bit of an anniversary dance. So those of you that it's your first time attendee at the NILRC annual meeting, can you raise your hand? I promise not to embarrass you or make you do anything that you don't want to. We just want to welcome you and kind of see what our population looks like. I see 4 people. That's 5. Well, Lois, you're first. Yes, it's your first too. Lois, do you have an easy access to the put everyone's hand down feature? Or I guess just have everybody put their own hands down after each question. Don't worry about it. When the question's over, you can just put your hand down. Thank you. So, okay, how many people who have been here 3 or less years? Have been to 3 or less annual meetings? I know you have to kind of think probably. So this is the people who have a little bit of connection with this group in this meeting. This is a pretty good sized group. So I'm glad you've come back again. Thank you, appreciate it. We love return return attendees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or so. Perfect. Okay, how about 5? 5 or less. I know I'm making some people probably think you're like, I don't know. Probably like 4, 5, 6. Nice. How about 10 or less? I'm going to start jumping the numbers up here a little bit. A little bit smaller group, about 4 of us. I'm just right over the mark at 6. I started doing the math this morning. How about 15 years or less? Because I think there are a few of you who have been doing this for quite some time. Look at that, there's 4. How about 20 years or less? Beth, I was thinking you. Amanda, you're over 15 years. Wow. How about 25? Beth, is it you? I think you are. I was assuming you were going to be our.
I failed to lower my hand. I apologize.
I was like, I don't think you've been doing this more than 20 years, Amanda.
It's less than 5.
So, Beth, what's the magic number? How long have you been associated with NILRC? Do you know? You're on mute. I'm sorry.
I think 21. I think I've been to 21.
Just past the mark. Excellent. Well, if I could give you a prize, I would. Instead, you get my gratitude for your long involvement and commitment to NILRC. So all of you, it's just, I think it really shows how these are relationships that you can keep for many, many years. So you forge a friendship here, and it really, it's something that you can bring with you your whole professional life. So let me ask another question. How many of the people in attendance here have served on the NILRC board? Current or past? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At least 12. That's not a bad sized group, considering how many people are fairly recent to the organization, to coming to annual meetings even. So that's nice to see. Okay, we'll put our hands down. How many of you have served on a committee? That number goes up quite a bit. Look how many of the people here have been on a committee, but there's a lot more people that we need to convince. Some arm twisting. If you're going to come to the annual meeting, then you need to get into making this part of your professional diet. This is part of, you're obviously interested. Let me, would you like dessert with that? It's time to join a committee. So you can talk to any of these people who have served on a committee, and they can tell you what an amazing experience that has been for them to continue to forge these relationships. Okay, here's another one for you. How many of you absolutely 100% positively without looking know what NILRC stands for? What the acronym stands for? I gotta tell you, I trip on it about 50% of the time. Look at that. That says something. Not many people are 100% sure. Beth, is our longest serving. Would you like to confirm what the actual name of NILRC is? No? Okay, I can do it. Network of Illinois Learning Resources in Community Colleges. There you go. It's NILRC. Okay, here's another one for you. And this time you're going to want to open the, from here on out, you're going to want to open the chat box if you have not done so previously, because I'm going to ask you to type a few things in. So how many of you are mostly now working at home or in the office? Yeah, I know it's going to be a mix for some people. Because we're recording this and we can download the transcript, we're going to be able to pull some fun information out of this to kind of see what life looked like at NILRC by this point in the reopening of NILRC. That's a nice mix here. That's interesting. Okay, next question. Is your library open to visitors now? I know that there is every version of open out there, but are you letting people come into your library? Another mix. Interesting, huh? Super interesting. And how about, do you know if your library will be open to visitors in the fall? Do you already? Yes, maybe, hopefully. I know, right? It's all over the map. You could ask any random librarian on the street right now and probably not get the same answer about the certainty about the future of what we're doing. But boy, I think it's super interesting just to see. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to take a few more minutes just to try to connect with a few of you more individually. I'm going to do a little bit of a popcorn round here. So I'm going to list off 3 people who are going to answer the following question out loud, and the rest of you can put your answer in the chat. And the 3 people I select will then each select a person of their own that will answer the next question. Okay, so I pick 3, and then those 3 people each pick somebody for the next question. That's what we're going to do. And when you get the question, if you could just say, just introduce yourself before you give the answer and pick the next person, so we can just kind of hear you with your name and then hear what your answer is. So I'm going to pick Amanda Wiesenhofer and Shannon Port and Jessica Bastion. Here is your question. What are you most proud of this year?
Oh. A lot, basically just surviving and making it. I mean, we did a lot this year.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm the most proud of my staff, all of them, from faculty and staff, of just being able to roll with the punches, because there have been many, and a lot of them unplanned, because let's face it, even as directors, there was no class that said how to deal with the pandemic. I mean, we were all figuring out, both school-wide as well as library-wide. So I think that's what I'm the most proud of, is my staff.
So much sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jessica from ICC, and I echo Amanda and Shannon. And then, of course, I have to say that not just the pandemic, but also the new system and all of the technical changes that we've encountered this year. I'm really proud and happy to be on the other side of all of that. So, you know, to just make it here at this point, I think is a milestone. It's exciting. So.
It's amazing. And Shannon, do you just want to introduce yourself?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Hi, I'm Shannon Port. I'm Associate Dean of the Library at Elgin Community College.
Wonderful. And Amanda introduced herself earlier. Can you each pick somebody else to hand off the next question to?
Sure. Tara Jacobson.
Amanda and Jessica.
Sure.
Hot seat. Even if you don't know somebody, just pick a name.
I'm going to go ahead and pick Ruth, because I don't know Ruth. So
excellent.
I'm going to select the Dean of the library where I work, and my friend Tammy Kuhn-Schnell.
Excellent. And the question I have for you is, what problem have you been trying to solve lately?
Which one?
All right. I'm Tara Jacobson. How to be able to staff our library appropriately, because we're open, we've been open, with less people, and also advocating for getting more folks in our library, getting them back, because we did lose some staff over last summer.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Ruth Lindeman. I'm the reference and instructional librarian at Danville Area Community College. And I'm sitting in for Penny McConnell, who would otherwise be here. And I think right now we're dealing with the fact that we have a staff of 3 and 2 of us are suffering physical injuries. And so, which is actually why I'm at home today. And that's made it a little difficult because we're completely open. So we have a very immediate problem to deal with.
That's a thing. That's the thing to deal with. Wow. Tammy, how about you?
And I know she is at the library staffing the desk. So
Okay, so she might be stepping away. Okay, so why don't if you pick somebody else for the next question, and I will also add, let's add Amy Pence to the mix.
I'm gonna pick Teresa Flett.
I'll pick Russell Crack.
Awesome. Okay, here's your question. What would you do if you knew you could not fail? I know that one's actually, I thought it might be a little large for this time of the morning. I'm sorry if it's too philosophical, but it was such a tempting question. I need ideas.
It is big. I mean, there's so much. I'm Teresa Flett. I am now director officially of the library at St. Charles Community College. Okay. What would I do if I knew I could not fail? Well, I mean, I do always ask for more money, more staff, but I think that I'd just go right for that. It would be the first thing, more money, more staff.
That's awesome. Always have more.
I'm Russell Cracky. I'm Technical Services Coordinator at Oakton Community College, and Jake is my supervisor. And I also work with Ashton Trimble as co-chair for the NILRC Overdrive Consortium Committee. And if I could do something and I knew I would not fail, that's a very deep, very deep question. I like it very much. I guess I would say, if there was really something that I could do, it would be in terms of like the library or the school, it would be it would have to be probably having students wanting to go back to college, and for the US to find it very important for their for young people to go to college and get some education. That's what I would really love to see. So, and use the library on top of it.
Hi, I'm Amy Pence. I am at Triton College as the Director of Library Systems and Technical Services. I would have to agree with the more money, more staff, but I think if it is for the library at the college, I would really want to get our faculty very involved and actually helpful with planning what the library is going to be doing, resources we're going to be having. The faculty is always our weakest link sometimes. So I would have to get them more involved and have that trickle down, have them get their students more involved with using library resources.
Excellent. So each of you please pick another person. I'm going to try to squeeze in like probably 2 more of these. So let's see what we can do.
I'll pick Abby Fry. Yes.
I'll pick, I don't think we've heard from Lois yet. I'll pick Lois.
I will pick Rachel Stevers. Not sure if I got that right.
Great. Okay, here's your question. If you could have an extra hour of free time every day, how would you use it? Completely free, no strings attached. Sleeping, reading, or napping.
It's Rochelle Stivers. I'm the library director at Heartland Community College. And I would like to go over all the notes I make and never seem to get organized.
So much truth in that.
I'm Lois Bruno, and I'm your director. And if I had an extra hour, I would finally take those guitar lessons I've been wanting to take.
extra hour. I love being outside, so it probably would something outside, maybe work in my garden or something like that.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, pick another round, please.
Pick Thomas. Hey, Thomas.
Beth.
Don't forget we have 2 screens here, guys, so if you're not digging deeper, a whole bunch of people.
I will pick Brent. I've not met Brent, so.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna do 2 more questions. Here is, oops, that's the wrong one. Sorry, guys. This is if you could be, this one's easier than some of the other ones probably. If you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you be? Based on the last answers, I'm going to say probably bed.
I'm Beth Mandrell from Rend Lake College, and I would be in Whidbey Island, Washington, because my son just came home from deployment. And I would love to visit with him.
I would be in Greece, which I usually go to every year, except when there's a pandemic going. So actually, I went to the IFLA, International Federation of Library Associations. They have a conference every year, and it was in Athens in 2019. I had a great time. So I would like to go to the next one. I don't know where it's going to be at. Maybe Ireland, maybe Netherlands, but yeah. So right now, I would like to be on a beach on an island somewhere, preferably Greece.
Forgot who our third person was. It slipped my mind.
Brent Eckert, I believe it is.
Brent.
Yeah, hi. I'm technical services librarian at Rock Valley College. And actually, I like being where I am. I like spending time at home, working in my garden, doing hobbies, etc. But I'd also like to be able to go to Michigan to visit family, which I haven't been able to do in over a year now.
I agree. My gosh, more of that, please, right? More seeing the people we really want to see. Okay, pick 3 people, but I just want anybody else to shout out what they want to say on this last one.
I pick Angelina Mabry.
I'll pick Guillermo Gasca.
I'll pick Maria Fiegel Kruger.
Excellent. Okay, here's your question. Which quarantine 2020 fashion would you most like to keep?
I'll
all
go
day.
first. Quarantine fashion is sweatpants every day because none of my other pants fit.
Exactly. I started looking up what that fully entailed last night. I was like, wow, there's things in here I wasn't even thinking about. Tie-dye, because people had time on their hands to tie-dye things. I'm like, oh, I didn't connect that one. Blouses only for Zoom, right? Yeah. I don't know that I can ever wear shoes to work again. I'm kind of over that.
I'll go next. My name is Guillermo Gasca. I'm the interim director at Morton College Library, and I have fully embraced the flannel pajama pants that people normally wear for like Christmas morning. I would love to keep that year round.
Might get to. The world has changed. Is that everybody?
I have to say that I haven't stopped. I kind of kept my quarantine outfit going, and that's basically just yoga pants and tennis shoes. And I've been back in the library since July, and not one person has said anything to me. So I'm going to roll with that.
Until they say otherwise, you must be fine, right? Yeah, I know. There are things about this year that I think we all want to hold on to. I think that's going to be the challenge for us in many ways, right? Is what good can we hold on to? And when we kind of move back to the new normal of some kind, you know, what's the best of what we're missing, and try to bring those two together. So I feel like that is probably one of the big challenges. So as long as it includes flannel pants and leggings and no shoes, I think we're okay, right? So thank you for sharing. If there's anybody who didn't get a chance to introduce themselves, if you'd like to just say hi and introduce yourself to the group, please do so now. There's no requirement to do so, but if you'd like to, please. Everyone's good? Okay, well, we definitely want to know who you are and get to know you as much as we can. So thank you, and please feel free to continue participating via chat. We love to see your comments, and it'll be fun to go back and read over them later. Okay, I'm going to move forward with the agenda to keep us on track. I think we're on time here. Next item on the, I'm going to actually, let me do this. I need to copy this link. I'm going to put this meeting link in here because the agenda did go out to the NILRC listserv, but I don't know that everybody always sees the listserv or reads it thoroughly. So that link will take you to a linked version of the agenda for today. The different parts of the meeting packet are, you can click through the links and view the different reports and the proposed budget. The information is linked off of that copy there. So the next thing on our agenda is to just ask if there are any additions to the agenda that anybody would like to propose. Instead of putting things on a shared screen, I'm just going to prefer putting links to things here so that you can manage your own screens on your side, how you want to view things. So just keep that in mind as a matter of protocol. Okay, hearing none, I'm going to leave the agenda as is, and I will entertain a motion to accept the agenda. You can just respond, so moved. That is any delegate can make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
I move to accept the agenda.
Okay, do I have a second? That was Ruth Linderman.
Second, Jacob Jeremiah.
Jacob seconds. Okay, and we're going to use the yes and no buttons in Zoom in the function panel, or please just answer yes or no in the chat. This is a vote for all delegates. So yes or no to accept the agenda as proposed. Okay, it looks like the motion passes. Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is to open the voting for our board elections. And so we've been trying to kind of tweak our processes to meet kind of the way NILRC voting is established in the bylaws, but also try to make things work in this online environment. The whole thing was, our bylaws are kind of written with the understanding that the people who are voting are mostly in the room together. So we're trying to kind of adapt that to this setup. So at this point, Lois is going to email the delegates who have been identified for voting this year. She's going to email you the ballot, and the voting will remain open until later in the meeting at around 10 o'clock when we close the business toward the end of the business meeting. So you have until then to respond. There is a link to the candidate statements in the email I sent the other day to the listserv, as well as off of the linked agenda I just sent you as well. So if you'd like to review the candidate statements once more. I would like to just note that, and I would like to just kind of, for the candidates that are present, I'd like you to just kind of make sure we all can, again, see your name and your face, so we can all know who you are when we're voting here. Ashton Trimble is our one candidate as chair-elect. So Ashton, just want to put there you are up there, say hello.
Hi, everyone.
Absolutely wonderful. So Ashton is currently serving as member at large, and there are actually only 2 open slots on the board right now, 2 regular full-term positions, but we're going to be voting for 3. because if Ashton is elected to this position, then her seat would also be open and the second year would need to be filled. So the first and second top vote getters will get the full 2-year slots as member at large, and the third ranking vote member, we will be assigned the 1-year replacement term for Ashton if she is elected chair-elect. So can I have each of the, I'm just going to ask each of you to just wave and say hello. Our at-large board member candidates are Teresa Flett. I heard from Teresa earlier, but there she is waving. Hello, Teresa.
Hello.
And we have Sarah Hill.
Hello, everyone.
There's Sarah. And William Pankey, unfortunately not able to join us this morning, last minute reasons he was not able to attend, unfortunately. Amy Pins.
Hello.
Thank you, Amy. And Sam Suber.
Hello. Sorry, I don't have a camera at work, so.
You just be the mysterious man with the voice. That's fine. Okay, so that's the candidates that are on the ballot. Are there any additions to the ballot that anybody would like to add, would like to call for? Okay, hearing none, we will, the ballot will be as presented, and Lois has already probably sent the email. If not already, she's going to do it in just a second. And if you do not receive the email or you have any trouble accessing it, chat to Lois and let her know, and she'll provide you with an alternate, a ballot through an alternate access, and she'll just provide you a link through the chat personally. Like I said, you'll have till about 10 to complete it. So we will come back to the results of the election later in the meeting. Okay, next up is the consent agenda, which includes the, I'm actually going to have Brian, can you please read off the contents of the consent agenda for the attendees?
Sorry, yes. Okay, so just before I read them off, does anyone may remove an item from the consent agenda by asking the chair to do so. Items removed will be discussed and acted upon immediately following passage of the remaining consent agenda items. So on the consent agenda, we have the chair's report. We have the Director of Member Relations and Consortium Business Manager report. And then we have the committee, group, and task force reports. We have the Professional Development Committee report, the Information Literacy Committee report, the Website and Communications Committee report, the Overdrive Consortium Committee report, the Learning Innovations Conference Planning Committee report, the Staffing Task Force Committee report, and also the minutes from last year's meeting on May 7th.
Excellent. So does anyone present, that doesn't have to just be board members, anyone present wish to have an item that's on the consent agenda pulled for discussion and a separate vote? Remembering that this is the work of our consortium. So if there's anything that you think needs further clarification or discussion, we're happy to address that here. Okay, great. So I'm not hearing any. So is there any general discussion or comments about the entire consent agenda that anybody would like to make? I would like to thank you, the committee chairs, and for your leadership and for creating the reports. And I'd also like to thank everyone who served on a committee this year. You continued to enrich our organization during incredibly difficult times. And so again, I'm really thankful for the time and effort that you were able to give to NILRC and your colleagues this year. And these reports really reflect that effort. Thank you so much. Okay, given all that, I will entertain a motion from any delegate to approve the consent agenda.
Chair Jacobson, I'll motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second, Kate Kaufman.
Okay, and again, we will do the yes, no votes in the or by chat. All delegates can vote to accept the consent to approve this consent agenda. Okay, I'm not seeing any dissent, so the motion passes. The consent agenda is approved. Thank you. Okay, next I'm going to hand it over to Abby Fry, our treasurer. She'll be providing us with a financial update and present our proposed budget for fiscal year 22.
Okay, I am going to share my screen really quickly here. This is what I want to share. Okay, can everybody see my screen before I like start getting into things? Okay, I'm seeing people nodding. Okay, so this first thing I just wanted to show you for future reference, because we are planning on putting these things on the website, is that monthly you will see these documents titled This Way. It's to try to help give everyone a better picture of what is going on financially with NILRC. So this first thing, the cash position, goodness gracious. Can't get the thing to go away so I can get to my tabs. It looks a little bit, well, it looks like this. This cash position is an overview, shows what we have in our accounts, shows what the past month, general things. Again, just an overview. The next thing is the Sage income statement that comes straight from our accounting bookkeeping software. So this is what has happened here in this first line is what's happened in the last month. It says current month, but it's for the last month, and then year to date, and then our budget. Again, to give sort of an idea of what's going on financially. And the last thing is this net worth statement, which comes from our bank. And this shows, again, all of our accounts, what's in our accounts money-wise. So that's what that is. So be looking for those on the website. We haven't quite figured out where we're going to put them yet, but it is in the plans. And then this is our proposed budget for the year. As we know, it's been an interesting year. So could be an interesting year coming up as well. Financially, we think that we will be okay. We're going to possibly try some different things this next year to help NILRC's financials in some different ways with different software. Some of the things we're going to do too is get rid of some of these accounts that haven't had any activity for years that just show 000 to try to make things a little easier to read, a little more user-friendly. The other thing that we like to try to point out around this time of year is that sometimes month by month, it might look like we're not in a great place because we get paid for a lot of stuff towards the beginning of our fiscal year. And then obviously around this time of year, we aren't getting paid for things, but we still have to pay things. So sometimes it will show negative balance later in the year, but overall, we don't actually have a negative balance. So that's another thing to keep in mind, especially when you're viewing the things that we plan to put on the website. I think that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions. I'm gonna stop sharing though.
Yeah, I'll just reiterate that. Is there anything that anybody would like further clarification on? Not just with the updates to our financial reporting, but with the proposed budget as well. I'm going to ask the board directly that question in a second, but are there any delegates or members present that have any questions or comments? Okay, well, I think it's because we're doing a good job that it seems like it's all in good shape, and I'm going to just kind of assume that that's what you're all thinking. So that I hope that you appreciate having a little bit more information at your fingertips when you do have questions, because again, that's the other half of a member organization. You need to be able to kind of see what we're doing. So we're hoping that this is a good example of doing that. Board members, do you have any comments on the budget before we bring this to a vote? Okay, I can just say that I know we've left money in there for the NILRC conference, even though it's not going to be possible for us to meet in person for that event again this fall. So, you know, I know that that will leave our options open, but I appreciate that we've budgeted for it so that we have, you know, the possibility there to, if things cost money that we need to do, that we've got some resources at hand to do that. Okay, hearing no discussion or comments, I'll entertain a motion from a board member to approve the fiscal year 2022 budget as presented.
So moved.
Second.
And Ashton seconds. Okay, Brian, please call a roll call vote.
Okay. Jennifer McIntosh,
Yes.
Jacob Jeremiah,
Yes.
Francis Whaley,
Yes.
Brian Clark. Yes. Abby Fry,
Yes.
Ashton Trimble,
Yes.
Tara Jacobson,
Yes.
Amanda Weissenhofer,
Yes.
Thomas Thomas. I'm just gonna say Thomas. Yep.
Thomas
that's
says
what I'm gonna
yes.
do.
Yes, yes.
Sorry. And Lois Bruno.
I think Lois is a non-voting
Okay.
member. On that.
I wasn't sure. I had her on the voice vote from last year, so.
Okay, yes.
Well, I had Lisa on the voice vote from last year, so obviously. Okay, so that's a yes from everybody.
Motion passes. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you to our treasurer and our director for working on preparing the budget. Thank you all for taking the time to review and approve said budget so that we can do our work next year. Hooray for budgets. Okay, we are ready to move on to some new business, and I'm going to hand it over to Amanda Wiesenhofer, our chair of the Website and Communications Committee. She's going to share some information with you about our NILRC listserv.
So the Website and Communications Committee has been working to migrate hosts for our listservs. So we're moving from Oakton to Rails Library Consortium as a host. We're trying to make this as like less evident to the membership as possible. We are trying to do everything on the back end to make it easy for everybody. So we have a list of current email addresses that are signed up for the NILRC info listserv, and then a delegates list. So we will be importing these into our new system on Monday. I will send out information on Monday before I'm actually upload the email addresses to reiterate the message I'm sending today. I also wanted to show you on the website where you can view and access the back end of the new system. I can't, okay. Share my screen real quick. Okay, so from the NILRC homepage, if you go to what we do, there is a new page down at the very bottom of this list called NILRC mailing list. This will give you basic information about the list, explain how you post to the list, and it includes a login button to the back end of the system, which we have not had before. So this is going to be an exciting change because we'll have archives to look at and look through. So everybody that's currently signed up for the NILRC info list should receive an email, a welcome email from the new system on Monday. And those who are delegates and alternates will receive a separate welcome email. And that is a closed list. So really not a whole lot is changing, just different hosts. So the one thing that we do ask you're mindful of is to add the new domain. I guess if you whitelist the domain, then all of the emails will come through without issue. So if anyone has issues with this or needs help, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is right here because I'll be managing migration, and then Lois and I will work together in the future to maintain the list too. So that is, I think, the basics. And once again, this is the same as it's always been. Anybody is invited to post questions, concerns, comments to your colleagues at other community colleges. And the NILRC L list is closed. So, excuse me. So this will primarily be used as just basically a distribution list to send out information from NILRC leadership to our members. So if you have colleagues that you are not sure if they're signed up for the NILRC lists, I'd encourage them to go ahead and sign up. And they can do so by clicking this link and then signing themselves up. You'll get a generic password. You can come here to change that and modify it, and modify your settings on your account too. So that's the basic gist of the project. Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
Do either of you remember about how many people are currently on our mailing on the listserv, the main one?
It's 270 roughly.
Okay.
So I think too, over the next year, we'll work on getting more employees at member institutions signed up and involved. So that's the plan.
That's where I was kind of heading with that. I think it would be great if we could push for all of our members, or as much as really practically makes sense for them to get on the list and use it as a resource to connect with their colleagues across the state, because I think so many times we feel like we're alone when we're doing our work, when there really is a whole network out there. You just kind of have to know which pool to dip in and know that other people are listening, right? So this is such an amazing, powerful tool. And I'm not sure if you all are following it, but with all the ALA changes to listservs, they're moving away from a traditional listserv model that I know a lot of people have strong attachments to. You know, we have one right here, and it's right with your most immediate colleagues. So I think that we can maybe, you know, bring some more of that conversation to our local list, possibly, if that's the mode that people really want to communicate through, right?
And one more thing too that I did not include, we will retain the Oakton list for another 30 days from the go live. So that's kind of to act as a catch-all, to make sure everybody is on the new list and ready to participate. So any questions, you're always invited to email me or call me directly. I'm happy to help at any time.
I have a question. It's not so much about the listserv, but it is the website. Do we send pictures of our libraries? Who do we send those to? Is that to Lois still, or?
You can send to Lois, you can send to me, or anybody on the website and communications committee.
Okay.
Amanda, do you want to explain what she's referring to? I'm not sure everyone might know what she's talking about.
So, and we haven't freshened up the photographs in a while. But so all the photographs you see featured on the NILRC site are from our member institutions. If you notice that your library is not included, feel free to email any of us photos and we'll add them. And that's probably a good idea to freshen those up. I know everything is different.
Probably dark pictures right now with nobody in the library.
Yeah.
I also had a question on this. I am new to NILRC. I will actually be taking Beth's role when she retires in just a few weeks.
Okay.
And I went to this website just now as you've been showing this, but when I go to the NILRC mailing list, it won't let me access the page.
Okay.
And maybe that's because I don't have a member portal.
I had it hidden. And so I just, right before the meeting, unhid it just to show it. I don't know.
And I don't want to take up time. I can get with you later. I
That's
just
fine.
was
That
just
could
trying
be
to
why
get on.
I don't know if it's a cache issue or what, but I will definitely check into that and then follow up with you if I need to.
I'll put my email in the chat.
Okay, awesome. I'll
Thank
just put you in the
you.
little list and make sure you get added.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Sorry about that.
Okay, great. Well, I know I was very much in favor of us moving this direction. I would love to have an archive of our conversations. I don't know about you guys, but I like getting notifications of things in my email, but I don't want to keep them there. I want to be able to find them later somewhere else. So this is, I think, going to become like a nice kind of knowledge base of our previous conversations. So I'm really looking forward to us moving this direction. And thank you to Amanda, and I know Francis put in a lot of work on this, and Lois, and the committee, the website committee, in coordination with the Rails staff. And I'd really appreciate the time you put into this project. These things always seem like they're going to be a little simpler than they end up being. There's always a trick, right? So
absolutely, we're just used to it now. It's
we are, but I think this is. It also kind of underscores why having a few more people on these committees really helps this work get done more easily. We can kind of divide and conquer to get more done. So, you know, I just hope that some of you look at some of the opportunities there and you can see some of the colleagues you'd be working with. And I know website is definitely one of the committees that could use another member or two to be more effective in your goals. I think you're pretty short staffing.
We would love to have new members. It's fun. Everyone will have a good time and we'll get a lot done. So we have a lot of good ideas for next year. So it's an exciting time too.
Absolutely. Okay, I want to keep us on schedule, which we really are, which is awesome. I gotta tell you, I'm not the best person with keeping a meeting on schedule, and I'm kind of 9:56. I'm not on schedule. Oh, you're
Oh, we're good.
I'm
We're
terrible
good.
at keeping meetings on schedule.
That's kind of what I was saying. Sorry.
Okay. No, not so good at finishing on time. So I'm really trying to do my best today. Okay, so the last agenda item before we break to deal with the elections, to get the results of the election, is I wanted to circle back around to future hosting of the meetings, because with all of the closures, things have kind of like last year it was supposed to be hosted at Lakeland College, but we didn't get to meet in person. This year we were supposed to meet at Morton College. Wonderful, that was decided last year's meeting, and alas, here we are again, meeting in the ether. So you know, here we are. So, and then last year we did decide that ICC, Illinois Central College, would be the host of next year's meeting, 2022. But I guess I just wanted to stop and make sure that we, we've skipped over people who have all volunteered to host. Do we want to kind of just reset the clock? And then I also wanted to throw in there the possibility that an institution may not be at liberty to host a gathering in the next 12 months. I think I would feel uncomfortable volunteering to host a meeting, for example, in the next year myself. So I wanted to just put the issue on the table again and decide the best way to proceed for this next year and the following year. And I apologize if I'm putting anybody on the spot from Morton or from ICC, or that wasn't really maybe ready to participate fully in this, but what do you think? I'm just going to put you on the spot anyway. I'm so sorry. The rest of you can, if you have an opinion, please jump in.
Hi, Jennifer. It's Guillermo
Hi.
from Morton College. We are actually going through a transition phase at Morton right now. Michael Cott, who was the director or the dean, the associate dean of the library, actually transitioned out, and I'm right now the interim director. In addition to that, we may be changing our space within the next year or two, and nothing is set in stone. So for right now, I would have to take Morton College off of the table.
Okay. This is important information to have. Thank you. So that clarifies things a little bit. Thank you for that information, Guillermo. Kate, what do you think about ICC? Are you in a position to host next year still?
Well, it's kind of up in the air, I guess. But right now they're beginning to kind of loosen things up at ICC in terms of our own travel elsewhere. So I'm somewhat confident that by next May we could do something, but I can't commit totally to that at this point. So
let me back up and ask a bigger question to the delegates particularly, but obviously everybody who would maybe want to attend. How do you feel, maybe I should put it kind of to a raise hand so we can actually put kind of a number to it. If you feel more than 50% confident that you'll be allowed to travel for work next year, I'm actually seriously even wondering, does it make sense for us to plan for an in-person meeting again next year at this point? I mean, I know that the world is kind of opening up. I'm at an institution where the world, it looks like we're in like massive lockdown mode in many ways still. And like I said, I don't think I could host if I wanted to. If you think you're 50% or more confident that you would actually be able to attend an in-person meeting next year, can you say yes or raise your hand or something to indicate?
So Jennifer, when I mentioned, our own travel, right now they're doing it by radius to our current location. So like within 100-mile radius, we can travel for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
So I don't know if others are experiencing that or not, but that would be one consideration, I guess, from an ICC perspective, is where it's located.
Sure.
And whether or not it's in that radius.
Does anyone have a recommendation or perspective on how to handle next year's meeting at this point? We normally would always have a plan fixed a full year in advance, but I do wonder if maybe a communication mid-year to the delegates firming up the plan might be more advisable this year. Does anybody have any opinions on that?
I was just gonna suggest maybe something at the what would have been the NILRC conference in October. Maybe we can decide something that at that point, which would be October, I feel there would be a better sense of where everybody is than now.
That seems reasonable.
It does. My view.
Okay. If you had your hand up previously, can you either take it down or just leave it up to answer? Do you generally agree with that recommendation from Brian that we revisit this in October around the time of the NILRC conference? We'll be back at school. Our colleges might have better perspective on what planning looks like and travel looks like. If you think that that's the wise way to go, please raise your hand. And that doesn't have to be delegates. That's just everybody. I want to just kind of see like what the membership feels like. Okay. I mean, I think there's a healthy group of people who are saying yes, not everybody, but anybody who is not agreeing with that, can you, if there's a concern that you have, I'd love to hear what that is. Okay, it might just be that people don't have as much opinion or skin in the game about what we do in the future, and that's fine. I am going to, I don't know that we can well, maybe we should just make an official vote to address. Do we need to do that? What do you think? Do we need to actually vote on that? I don't think so. Okay, we'll just read that into minutes that we're going to revisit the hosting of the 22 and 23 meetings in the fall and and additionally beyond that as needed to make a good decision, but with plenty of notice to all of you so that you can make plans to attend in person if you're allowed to. Okay, we are. Yes,
Jennifer,
go
can I just add one little note to that maybe?
Yeah.
If people think that they would be able to host at, next year, if you know in October-ish that you would be able to host, maybe just come prepared with that information when it comes out from the board, so that it just makes that process of picking where it would be easier. Since Kate isn't sure right now, that would probably be the first option was, if Kate feels comfortable then, but otherwise people could have in mind. That's just my note.
Excellent point. Yes, thank you. And if you're not really aware that if you haven't really been to these in person before, I mean, I think the benefits are really great. It's wonderful to be the host and have people come to your school. And, we usually tour through the facilities and kind of talk through things together and just we just get a chance to kind of show off the things we're doing and introduce people to our unique communities and stuff. So it is a really nice opportunity to host when we can, right? So yeah, please keep that in the back of your mind if you think it would be good for your institution to host. You see Beth putting a comment in there. I feel that having it online allows more people to participate. Brent Eckert's got a comment about the value of being online, which I think all of us are probably seeing that in different aspects of our work right now, the benefit of potentially being online sometimes. And could there be an online portion if the meeting is in person? I imagine that we will probably continue to offer a Zoom-based stream of these meetings in the future. It's hard for me to imagine why we would go backwards to not making them inclusive for as many people to participate. So I think we will continue to do that. There's definitely benefits to coming in person, but it is not practical or possible for all people. So, and regarding the voting, which is a little bit clunky in the online circumstances, I think the board will probably take up potentially revising the bylaws to make them a little bit more flexible to meet the needs of a hybrid meeting scenario, so that we don't have to have everything all timed down to the minute with voting during the meeting. So we'll try to look to modernizing a lot of those procedures to make it more inclusive in the future. Yeah, and you're right. We have had online participation. I think it's been a little bit, I want to say people mostly called in, and it's a little different than Zoom is all I was going to say. I was thinking when I said that, when I saw that comment, Francis. Okay, I want to keep us on time. Dang it, we're over time. Like I said, I didn't. See, this is what happens every time. Okay, so we are going to take a break. I still think we should take a full 10 minutes, and we'll shave a few minutes here and there because I want you to get up and stretch your legs, and we need to tally the votes. When we come back, we will see the results of our election. It is 10:06. We will reconvene at 10:16. Thank you, and enjoy getting up and walking around for a few minutes. And the voting will close. You have like another minute or so to complete your voting. I need to do mine, Lois. I've been talking the whole time. I'll just ask, is there anybody who's still completing their vote, finishing their ballot? I'm not hearing anybody saying anything. So Lois, let's go ahead and close it, okay? Lois, do you have my phone number? Do you want to call me?